What's up, world? What's up, Zion? It's Prince Easy coming at you again once more as usual. And well, I do have a couple of slides that I want to share with you, right? And before we get to them, of course, I want to issue a disclaimer for all the copywritten material that's going to be shown here in this video under fair use, right? For the purpose of criticism, education, and commentary. Right? So let's get to it. Yeah, I'm seeing things coming out of Venezuela, but I'm also hearing rumors that some intelligence agency is gonna build its office at the capital. Is there any truth to that? We shall find out. But that is not a good sign. Yeah? Pistorius. Quite Roman of you. He says Ukraine dies, and who will do the killing? What he is insinuating that you pulling out of the conflict is you killing Ukraine. No. It's all up to Russia. But again, they can't stoop that low, it seems. Right? Some news from Madagascar, and of course some news from space, right? I don't know if you know how much 3,000 light years mean, but we shall leave it at that. Yeah, pivoting to Cuba now. Yeah, there are a lot of strays these couple days. Shots were fired, documents were shown, millions, 3 million to be specific apparently, but apparently there's more. This here happened. So again, they're also taking credit for their op, right? Because again, let's ask ourselves, what did we see? We saw a van pull up. It was a whole setup, literally in that sense, right? Literally on that sense. Somebody was there to film it. It was just a perfect, right? Just perfect coverage, right? I don't know if it was you that you'd pull your phone when the guns are being fired that close to where you are. I'm just saying. Okay, so the Philippines, so you know, this is not about your internal politics, right? I'm hearing North Korea and the Philippines have signed 2 frigates and stuff. Somebody is trying to set you up, right? That attack on the mayor, it was strategic for some reason. So the 3-letter agents, they are behind it. They say sophisticated. What's the sophistication about? You know, it is definitely an inside information that told about the route and the convoy and where it's gonna pass. And this guy was posted here with a camera to shoot the whole thing perfectly. Now, is that a coincidence, or do those things just happen these days? I don't know, right? Yeah. More and more of these activities, they're gonna pay you back. And please stop complaining. Strategic waterway controlled by China. Right? Those words do not even belong in the same sentence, but hey, they need a reason to, I don't know, enslave themselves for some reason. Yeah, now they're saying there are chemical weapons involved. They're calling it Putin Trump card. Right? I hope the US done heard this. Right? It is quite dangerous. You should only deal with them through America, okay? Please. This happened, right, just after they are trying to find their footing. They then went after the police. They shot a police station. Even came to East Africa. The Maasai, the Kenyans. Yeah, we shall pay you back. Believe that. They call it coalition of the willing. Willing to do what? To get all of you killed. Okay, this is all about you, white people. This is not about black people as some people trying to phase it. This is all about you, right? This is all about you and your countries and your leaders that are bringing us this headache that we are having here. Signing visa-free access over here, very dangerous. You're gonna be dominated by China, you know. You know, of course, right? They're trying to shift responsibility and say, like, look at them, they don't care. Like we said, la 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 la. Trying to gaslight and no. It's just that we have understood the game, and we have found out the best way is not to play. So this is happening today, Sunday. Okay. Yeah, Elon Musk is so in the AES. This is another situation, right? Some Cote d'Ivoire soldiers entered the territory of Burkina Faso, and somehow, I don't know, with a genius idea, planted a flag of Cote d'Ivoire instead of the flag of Burkina Faso. Of course, there wasn't any skirmish, right? They were just confronted by the people who were there, right? Who were not armed in any way, right? But they came in with pickups and full gear. So definitely they got permission from higher up, right? They got permission from higher up, from somebody from Cote d'Ivoire. I don't know what to say. If they start some, you better finish it. This is quite peculiar. Is the weather gonna change over there? I don't know, but we shall continue watching this. But I see a warm situation coming. Don't know why. That's what's up. Burundi over there. What is happening? Put in places means to escort your convoys. Tight security. Look at that. So, Sonia, this is how it ends. Yeah, this is where we're going, right? Because let's agree to disagree. These political parties are a looming crisis over all nations that have these multi-party systems. Still, greed is undefeated. Deceit is undefeated. Basically, human nature is undefeated. So, it is a vulnerability. That is my opinion. That will always be my opinion. From a security perspective, it is a vulnerability. Why? Divide. There is always a divide that occurs. And people get blinded and they cannot then differentiate between the interest of a country and their own group's interests. They cannot differentiate the two. And there is where the problem lies. And one party is no different from the other. Okay? Because why? They are all people. They share the same shortcomings. So more is unfolding pertaining to the latest strike by Trump. These two brothers here were taken out, and they were from Trinidad. Look at this walking carcass here. There's something wrong with him. Seriously. Right? This is why young people hate old men. Like the professor said, you're ruining the future. You're old. Leave. Sheesh. We covered this when they were discussing, and now apparently it seems that they have passed the thing. This up and down, this I don't know what even to call it, personality crisis disorder or something, right? One day you say that we are gonna fight for Donbass to the last person, we are not gonna give it up, and then now you want some. We are confusing, and that is very suspicious. From where I stand, I'll be very cautious about what will follow. Yeah, one way or the other, Cuba needs to be supplied with oil. just like Burundi, by any means necessary, official or unofficial. Okay, I'm all about what is right, not about what is legal or what is that. All of these things are conversations. What is right, that is what is immediate. Right? And we all know that, okay, this is not fine. This is not okay. So we stand by that. So apparently it's coming out that the UAE set up the Saudi prince to be the fall guy on the killing of Khashoggi. What did he know? I think it was neither the UAE nor Saudi Arabia. He had something more. And I'm quite sure it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out. Something deeper to this story. Yeah, just so you know, Italy, Maloney, and all of you French, we ain't not gonna be fighting over there with you. Just so you know. Okay? First time, we were your slaves in the First World War. Second time, we were, I don't know, half a human. This time, we're just gonna stay at home. Yeah. Britain giveth and Britain taketh away. So, you remember the Boybe formula we talked about yesterday? The same thing applies here. Okay? Of course, they had to tie in Saudi Arabia there to clear their innocence, but really they're just selling it to themselves. But the real point is that 6.67 billion worth of ammunition on top of the other ones that they have brought in. So the South Africans demanded, the government obliged. Baba. Right? Of course, the son has to jump in and make connections and stuff. Hey, don't just focus on Trump, all these other creeps. Also, focus on Putin. Putin is involved also in the files and stuff. This thing here will be much more revealing. It will have some unintended or unforeseen consequences for the parties involved. Now just observe and absorb whatever they're giving out. Yeah, right. China is already an economic in decline. This is what they suggest, right, from Ambrose over there. Khamenei. Apparently, the Americans then told the Iranians to have professional conduct when fighting. They want professionalism when trying to kill and not to be killed. Okay. This guy here cannot catch a break. He must be some sort of, I don't know, outsider. Right? Because this scapegoating is at a concerning level. Right? This guy at this point, he's synonymous with Epstein than anybody. Again, right? So some suggest that this is leverage, you know. So if that's the case, then what would be the next batch release, and that too, what would that mean exactly? Because if it's a lever that they keep pulling so as to get Trump to do whatever he wants. I saw a very quite interesting comment. Say that it looks like Trump is trying to save face, but there isn't any face to save. It's not worth it to get involved in World War III because of saving face. That's a face that you cannot save for within itself. We need to pay attention. This is the NATO general here, right? Siding with Pistorius and Rutte and von der Leyen and the other one. Crazy work. But you shall find what you want. You shall find what you want. Just a rain of missiles and no retaliation. Okay. If they say so, you know. Very little correspondence. This is what he's saying. But apparently it is extensive. So if it were leverage, then does it apply here also? And to what end? You know? So anyway, now we are all caught up. What did you observe? They're trying to randomize events, it seems, so as we cannot establish a pattern of behavior. They think it is a great idea during times like this. Well, I don't know. Shall find out, won't we? So anyway, it's been easy. I'm gonna put a pin on it right there, and we're gonna hear from each other when we hear from each other. Love you. Bye.